corners, and we were in that corner, and then we all had to move because, of course, on Character Day, one of the devices lost connection. So everyone, I have to show you because I was like, people are sitting over there. There's people over there.
We're over here.
Well, hopefully you're exhibiting resilience and a sense of awe and having a sense of gratitude that at least this camera's working.
People are sitting over there. Oh no, we're in two spots. Over there. Wait 1 second.
Close.
Okay. Hello, technology. Hello, Dr. Kenneth Ginsburg. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderfully. Good morning.
Do you know that there are 90,000 events happening right now for Character Day? Is that mashug or what?
It's actually amazing.
It's amazing. We're having a great day. I started the day with like 600 elementary school students and their parents, which was so inspiring. And then I just spoke. We had Saul Kahn from Khan Academy. We had so many amazing people, and I just spoke to Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm following him. That just feels so amazing to me.
And then we have Marty Seligman, Angela Duckworth coming up. It's going to be an amazing day. I'm so happy to be talking to you. Because, you know, you and I might be doing a movie together. We've talked about it.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
So I would love for you to talk to me about what you often talk about the importance of raising a 35-year-old.
Right.
Talk to me about what you mean by that.
What it means is that so often when we think about our children or we think about our adolescents, we look at the child in front of us, right? And when we do that, we tend to focus on two things. Are they happy? And what are they doing in terms of their education? The problem is that when we focus on only those two things, we might undermine what we're really trying to accomplish. We're trying to accomplish raising a human being who's ready to take over and lead our world. So that person's going to be 35 or 50 or one of our elders. And we have to think, what does that person need? Because, you know, if you're talking about happiness for a 5-year-old, you're talking about giving them a cookie. If you're talking about happiness for a 35-year-old, you're talking about having them have a sense of meaning and a sense of purpose in their life, a sense of relationship, a sense that they're contributing. We want that 35-year-old to be the kind of person who walks down the street and who sees someone who's downtrodden, and rather than avert their eyes, like so many of us do, to understand that something happened to that person, and it's all of our responsibilities to lift that person up. We need that. We need that person to be hardworking, to have tenacity, to have grit, to have collaborative skills, to be able to take constructive criticism, to be able to honor diversity. We need that kind of person who is going to be resilient and who's going to be strong through difficult and through challenging and through wonderful times. And when we imagine that 35-year-old, we begin treating our children differently, with more respect and with more attention to the long term and to who they are rather than what they produce. When we focus on what children produce, children have anxiety. They worry about failing us. When we focus on who they are deep inside, they become their best selves.
And could you give, I mean, I love all of this. And, you know, as a mother of a 7-year-old and a 13-year-old, and I know you've done tons of work with adolescents. And I think a lot of our viewers, and by the way, all of you that are listening from all the different events, if you'd like to ask Dr. Ginsburg a question, you use the hashtag Character Day 2016 on Facebook or Twitter. Somebody from my team will bring it here. But I know, just as a parent, and I have spoken to you, but I would love like some specifics. Like, talk to me about a specific example you can give that could help the parents and the, you know, nurture that quality.
So if you're talking about the quality of understanding the power of relationships and a sense of meaning, I think less important than me giving a specific example, because I'm not talking about praise your child for taking out the trash. The biggest thing for parents to get here is that children learn from what we do.
They're modeling.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, our words can, our actions can speak so loudly that kids don't hear a word that we say. So if I had to really answer your question, Tiffany, well, what I would have to say to parents is imagine what you look like as a reflection in your child's eyes. And every time you model the goodness, the humanity, the commitment to relationships, every time you walk down the street and rather than holding your child's hand tighter because that person looks dangerous or like someone who you'd rather ignore, you say, you know, that person has a mother and a father. That person has gone through rough times. It's for all of us to learn how to lift each other up. And when you model that, rather than ignoring, noticing, rather than shaming, elevating, when we do that, kids learn. And you know, something else, speaking to parents, so many of us are always thinking, what is it that I do for my child? Get back to the original question. We're trying to raise kids to be healthy 35 and 50-year-olds. That's who we are. When we are the healthy 35 and 50-year-olds, meaning we honor our spouse, meaning we appreciate things in life, we notice things around us, we are showing them how to be healthy. So it is not selfish to show what it means to be a healthy adult. It's a strategic act of parenting.
Yeah, you know, as you're saying all these things, and I know I've told you about this kind of life-changing thing that my husband and I and our kids do, which is about 7 years ago, we decided that we were feeling too distracted on the screens and life is short. What are we doing here? We need to focus and give attention to the people we love. So we do tech Shabbats every Friday night, Saturday night, no screens. And it's been the most beautiful thing, but I think the biggest takeaway, and I keep learning from it, the longer I do it, I learn all these things that it's teaching me. But the biggest one is the modeling behavior, because I know a lot of, you know, a lot of parents complain about their kids on their phones, but a lot of kids will complain about their parents on the phone, and they're modeling. So when they're telling their kids not to be on the phone, they're on the phone. And so by us saying this is a family priority, that we are all together and present from Friday night to Saturday, we value this, and it's our favorite day of the week. It's super fun too, but it's just creating this temple and time and this space, and it's modeling. And that that makes me think about it every week, that by what we choose to value, we're showing our children what to value. And it's absolutely right.
It's about what you consider high yield. It's so easy to get in a rat race and to say that what's high yield is to focus on grades, to focus on performance. What you are demonstrating with your tech Shabbats, what you are demonstrating very clearly is what is high yield is us noticing each other, us spending time with each other. That's what's high yield. And when you have that kind of relationship is when you know your children. And what is love? Love is seeing someone as they deserve to be seen, as they really are, not based on a behavior they might be displaying or what they might be producing. And when we only notice what our kids are doing and we're always asking them how they're performing or correcting them for behaviors that we might not like, kids don't feel seen. And when we see them and model that that is the most important thing, it is highly protective to them throughout their life, and it's going to make them have the kind of relationships that's going to give them a sense of meaning and purpose in their life. So congratulations. What you're doing, you don't have to call it Shabbat. You can call it dinner every day. You can call it anything you want, but you make that time where that child knows my relationship with you and my relationship with my spouse takes precedence to everything else that's out in the world. That's protective.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm of the school of thought too on that note, because, you know, after the tech Shabbat, we always do date night, and that's like super valued. We go out, we get to bond, my husband and I, and the kids have their tech date night. But it's like I want them to see that that's valued too, and there's no exceptions for that. So it's wonderful. And I think that, you know, what do you think today? There's so many big issues in the news, and how do you think things have changed in terms of helping to raise that 35 or 50-year-old? Like, as a parent in today's world, what do you, I mean, certainly it feels like the news is becoming more and more unvarnished on what people say and what is seen. And there's so many big issues that are, and of course the internet has added this whole new layer, but talk to me about that.
Well, I think that question would be different depending on the group that you might be talking to. So we know that we're talking to parents all over the world and hopefully from all sorts of different kinds of backgrounds. So what I don't want to do is be trite enough to say that the lens I wear, I can tell you how the world has changed. What I can tell you is that kids are more exposed to the realities and the depths of passion and pain than they've ever been before.
That's more what I was, yeah.
I can tell you that. I can tell you that because of the internet, we understand the agony that's happening in other parts of the world. And I can tell you that for kids who are well-resourced, who are blessed with resources, there is a increasing pressure to keep up and to move ahead and less attention to being. I can also tell you that one of the most protective forces throughout the history of humanity is interdependence. It's us being together. It's us understanding that it is family and community and faith that brings us together and is protective. And for those cultures where independence is valued so strongly, we're losing that sense of intergenerational interdependence, and that's not good for kids. But that's also not permanent. It's not a demand. It's the kind of thing that you can step back up and say, I choose to be different. I choose to intensely have ongoing connections with my children. I choose to talk about the power of relationships rather than the power of making it. The choices we have.
Yeah, I did an interview last night with a woman who runs a school in Singapore, and it was fascinating because I was talking about character education in Asia, and she said, our community is valued over the individual. So this has always been a part of our discussion, which was really interesting because in America, which is our perspective, it's really coming into the zeitgeist to talk about character and relationships, but actually interdependence in Asia is a much more ingrained idea, interdependence with everyone else and everything else. So it's beautiful. Go ahead.
I'm blessed to do a tremendous amount of work with our indigenous nations, with our Native Americans. And the lesson that we learn from resilience is the power of intergenerational communication. So yes, other parts of the world still have it intact, but I think we have it here too to model. And I don't think it's lost here. I think we just need to breathe and remind ourselves. And in our culture, can I give you one piece of a trick? In our culture, if we're talking about the US, where independence is so strongly valued, you can't just say to a kid, I choose to be in your life forever. The trick during adolescence is not to install control buttons. So you honor independence. Don't install control buttons. Let that kid know that my job is to watch you grow and to become independent, and I have your back to do so. That's my job. If you don't install the control buttons, then they're going to come back to you for that nurturance that people want. If you get all in their face in our culture and tell them exactly how to behave, why? Because I said so. You'll do what part of NO do you not understand? If you're in the face or you're even demanding, be with me, share with me, then they're going to fly away. I want my kids to fly comfortably
and then fly back
and come back home. That's what I want.
Okay, that's a beautiful note to end on. We are unfortunately out of time, but can you tell us how people can find out about your amazing work? And actually, because of the technical problems, I didn't get to say your prestigious title, which I'm going to do now. You are a pediatrician specializing in adolescent medicine at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and a professor of pediatrics at the University of Penn School of Medicine. So how can people find out more about your work?
So my website is fosteringresilience.com. My favorite book, I've written a lot of books. I have professional curricula on how to work with kids. But my favorite book is actually Raising Kids to Thrive, because it is co-written with 500 kids. And so therefore, kids are the experts in their lives. You want to learn how to parent? Don't just come to some man to tell you. Listen to the kids and say, this is what we need. And that's raising kids to thrive.
Fantastic. Gorgeous way to end. Read his work. We're going to be working on a movie together next year. Really wonderful to have you on board, and thank you for all the work that you do.
And remember, teenagers are great and positive people, and never forget that. Okay?
Okay, I have a teenager now, so I'm going to think about that. Okay.
Right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.